Hi, I'm Constantine. I'm going to talk to you about JP Morgan and Chase and why you should invest stock in it. I have a vested interest, obviously, because I work there, but I still think it's a great company, and I think that everyone in the class should have the opportunity to invest stock in it. Now, finance is not the most fun thing for a lot of people. I'm going to try to take a very dry topic and make it interesting for each and every one of you. There's a couple things that might be a little confusing, and hopefully I can try to explain them. Why should you buy stock in JP Morgan and Chase? Three big reasons: expanding profit margins, attractive valuation levels, and an increase in stock the past year. Now, these things seem a little complex. Expanding profit margins, really not that complicated. So, this chart here is financial statement. It's their balance sheet. It shows their risk-weighted assets and total assets in general. The one thing I want to touch on here is from 4Q13, which was 2 quarters ago, to last quarter, which was ended in March. You can see that their common capital, which is cash, anything that's assets, anything that most shareholders invest in the company, had went up by $5 billion. So that's a really good indication that this company is performing well and that there's a lot of trust in people putting money in this company through deposits. It's a very profitable bank. It shows that they have a lot of trust in the bank. Another thing I want to touch on is highly liquidated assets. Sorry, they are cash that's easily convertible, and so if the company goes bankrupt, these assets will be converted into cash within a couple of days. It's not something that's going to take a while to be converted. So this shows that the company has a lot of backup money in case something happens, and this is really important because with all that's going on with government regulations and how banks are now with the financial crisis, people want to see that their money is safe and that this money is not going to go somewhere where it's not, and that people will have trust in a secure bank. And so I think that that's also another great indication on this financial statement. A couple things I want to touch on that they're the leader in. Number one, their deposit growth is among the highest in the industry. That's huge. They've been rated number one in customer satisfaction. Another great statistic, I feel like. Number one in small business banking. Another really big one that this is part of the sector I work in is mortgage banking. They're number 2 in mortgage originations, which means that they open up a ton of mortgages. And so if anyone has any hopes of opening up a mortgage, JP Morgan and Chase are more than happy to fund your mortgage. So. They're also number 1 in credit card issuings, which is a great statistic. My mom and dad both have credit cards in Chase, Sapphire. They've been happy customers there. Now, I don't want to bore you with all the graphs, but this is another good one. There's a couple good graphs on here. This talks about their capital for clients. So this is huge because with banking, you really want to form a relationship of trust, like I said earlier. Trust is huge for banking because people want to feel like their money is secure. And this graph shows that capital for clients, that clients feel safe securing their money in JP Morgan and Chase. From 2012 to 2013, you could see an increase from $556 billion to $583 billion. And this is across all the lines of business: corporate clients, card and auto, asset management, mortgage, home equity. So this is a huge increase that people are saving money in all these sectors of the business. Assets entrusted to us by our clients. This is also another graph that shows how much client assets has gone up between 2012 and now. 3,438 in 2012, 3,842. This is between consumer and wholesale. Another indicator that people are trusting the bank to put money, and they trust that the money is going into a great place. And this is going to show through their expanding profit margins that if people are putting money in the bank, they're able to have a higher profit, and they're able to put money into other investments throughout their assets. Cash and high quality securities. This is another great graph. Last graph, I promise. Liquid assets, like I said earlier, are highly liquidated assets that can be easily converted into cash. Between 2012 and last year, it's gone up $588 billion to $741, which is another good indication. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, has been quoted as saying we are capable of anything through the huge resources we bring to the table. JP Morgan Chase has a ton of resources that they have to offer. One of the biggest things that they have to offer is the amount of programmers, applications, and data centers that they apply to different government regulations such as ICAP. ICAP is a huge capital adequacy review that the government forces banks now to take in place, which shows if the bank were to be in an adverse situation and a severely adverse situation. So pretty much it's saying I'm not trying to say, if all hell broke loose, like if bankruptcy happened, what would happen to our bank? You know, where would how would our bank look in a bad situation? And the reason the government's making them do this is because they want to feel like this is still a secure bank and that people can still put their money in it if anything were to happen, like kind of like the General Motors kind of deal that happened a few years back. They want to feel secure, and this is one of the reviews that they make us do. This is something that I actually work on at work. 50% of U.S. households have mortgages with JP Morgan and Chase. 80% of Fortune 500 companies and 60% of the world's largest pensions are affiliated with JP Morgan and Chase. They have operations in 60 different countries and clients in more than 100 countries. I'm just going to show you guys a quick video.
Next idea.
All right, going with another one of the big four U.S. banks, JP Morgan Chase. Not the prettiest year in 2013 for JP Morgan, and from a business and reputation perspective, but the stock was fine. I think it beat the market if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. I make a lot of mistakes. I think the cloud of disaster will slowly dissipate, and people are going to realize how much money this bank really makes. We're not even in that great of a time for banks to make money, and they're making a lot of money. If they can make more interest from their loans, from their investments, that's a boost. They're taking costs out of the system. That's a boost investment banking can pick up. I think we can be pretty amazed the returns that this bank can generate. 15% return on equity. I don't think that's out of the question at all consistently. At this valuation, I think you have to ignore the noise, and you will be happy over the next 3 to 5 years with JP Morgan.
Is the sober, chassid Jamie Dimon as CEO a concern for you, that he doesn't have the vim, the spit, if you will, that he did a year ago?
It would be nice if he did, but it's not a concern. There's still a lot of smart people working there. They're going to please their clients. That's Dimon's problem, or maybe not problem, but he's really passionate about serving the client, and he sounds annoyed on all these calls because it's stopping the bank from interacting with their clients and making more barriers for them to get their job done. So I think he's just very passionate about getting the job done, and as this stuff goes away, the lawsuits and such, they'll be able to do that better.
So that's just another resource I want to pull together of someone recommending that it's a good company and that it's on the rise. Forgot my PowerPoint. So in conclusion, just to wrap up, some of the things that we touched upon: expanding profit margins, generating huge excess capital. They have a ton of capital in their balance sheet. They have a ton of assets. They have a ton of trust within different clients that people trust their company and they put money in this company. The stock price is on the rise. It went up $16 from last year, and they dedicated huge amounts of resources to dealing with capital stress tests like ICAP. There's been 30,000 different employees that have joined the company now to deal with government problems that have come up, and so they have faith that things are going to get better. And the future looks bright for JP Morgan Chase.